Hey guys, the wait is over. I'm finally doing a walk around video of the beautiful Turquoise 62 Beetle. It's been in our shop for probably about a couple weeks. So a little bit of history on this car. The owner has had it for I think maybe 10 years, maybe a little bit more, but the car originally, the restoration on it was done by Lenny Kopp and his team at West Coast Classic Restorations. And back then, Rafa was actually working some for Lenny here and there. Rafa had his own shop at the time, but he was also kind of helping Lenny out here and there. So Rafa has had his hands on this car since about the beginning. So yeah, full restoration, pan off restoration on the car. Really nice paint job, as you can see, and of course, Lenny's team is among the best at interiors. So it's too bad the back seat's not in. I appreciate the owner leaving it out just to be, have sort of one less thing in our way. But the bottom of the back seat is, of course, every bit as beautiful as the rest of the interior on this car. Sorry for the clutter here. These are his parts that we're not using, that we're returning to him. But yeah, nicely accessorized. And in fact, we've just added some accessories to it. So those of you that follow the channel know that we just installed these two Blaupunkt speakers. These are actually vintage speakers. He put new drivers in them. And then another thing that we just installed is this retro sound radio, which is modern in every sense as far as having Bluetooth and so on, but has the appropriate old school look to it. So we just installed that. You can see a lot of tasteful accessories on this car. He's got an original parcel tray you can see here, super clean badge. The 100,000 kilometer badge. And then we just installed this really nice original coach wheel. Beautiful condition. A little bit of patina in the chrome, but really, really nice. You'd be hard pressed to find one much nicer than this. The other thing that we just installed is this trio of gauges over here. So these are some gauges that IMPI released very recently. So on the left is a tachometer, and then we've got on the upper right is oil pressure, and on the lower right is oil temperature. So really nice addition to this car. Gives it a much more kind of racy, more purposeful look. He does have a big motor in here, so it's very appropriate to have these gauges, even though of course they make sense on a stock motor too. They make much more sense on a high performance motor. We'll look at his motor here in a few minutes. But yeah, as far as what we did this time, those gauges, the wheel, the radio, the speakers, we did, as I mentioned, also just install Koni shocks on all corners. It was another little upgrade that he wanted. He's getting a little bit more interested in having his car handling a little bit better. So another big thing that we did that really, really kind of enhanced the look of this car was we lowered it, but subtly. So the car, when it came in and as it was originally built or restored, it was sitting a little higher in front than in back. Basically stock height. They all kind of sit like that for the most part. So we installed a stock width adjustable front beam because he only wanted to go down about like an inch or so. We might have gone down a little bit more than an inch, but the beam is the way to go to get that amount of lowering. The spindles are 2.5 inches, so it pretty much slams it. That's not really what he was looking for. So we installed that and dropped the front down to give it a nice even fender lip, and then we adjusted the rear spring plates, 3 inner and 3 outer, to bring it down subtly, level the car out, kind of get rid of the positive camber that was in the back. So pretty much sitting perfectly now. I believe the owner's real happy with how it's sitting, and we certainly think it looks good too. So another thing that we just installed is this Hirschman antenna, which I believe was new old stock. Since we're in the front of the car here, let's go ahead and pop the front. So normally he does have a trunk liner and a spare tire in here, but again, in order to help us out, he delivered the car to us without those things because they would be in our way. But normally, yeah, there's the trunk liner here, which is kind of covering all this. And then, of course, the spare tire. But yeah, the wiring on this car is super tidy. Even though, you know, we added a bit of wiring with the gauges and so on, it was all done very neatly. And then the retro sound radio kind of has a lot more wires than you know, like an original accessory radio would. But yeah, we kept things very, very tidy in there. And, you know, in the end, it's going to be all covered up when he puts his trunk liner back in. But just kind of to show some detail on this car, that every place you look on this car is super, super nice. You will not find an area on this car that is not pretty much flawless. Owner takes great care of it, and it shows. Some really nice accessory fog lights, and then of course the grills. So yeah, he's really kind of getting this European Raleigh look down. You know, the lights, the grills, and now the stance. His wheels are made by a company called Mobilwagen. They're basically supposed to look like Porsche 356 wheels from the early 356s, but they're actually alloy aluminum. The original Porsche wheels were, of course, steel. These have the same look, but they're aluminum, so at least in theory, a decent amount lighter. And then he runs the drum skins on them, so it's basically just a essentially like a cover that covers, in the case of the front here, it's covering the disc brake. He upgraded to disc brakes when the car was built. And then in the back, it covers the drums, but it makes it look more like it's got a set of 356 brakes in there. So very cool, period correct look for it. So let's go around the back. So I've been trying not to show the motor on this because I wanted to kind of show it in some detail on this video that we're doing right now. So this is an 1835cc. I don't know too much about the specs inside other than, again, the fact that it's an 1835, but really nicely done. I believe this was built by Dave Greiner at Proformance, who builds most of our long blocks. But it's got Cadron carburetors, which of course look like new, like everything else on this car. And he's got air cleaners, which I believe are probably from Vintage Speed Taiwan. They have a very cool retro look to them. I think those are about the only guys that make these air cleaners that look kind of period correct. He still runs a heater system. Car's got heater boxes on it, etc. It's made to be driven and enjoyed. And the exhaust, you can see these huge cannons sticking out of the back in the stock location. This is actually a stainless steel exhaust also from Vintage Speed Taiwan. It's got a real nice sound to it. You know, it kind of has the stock look to it, but then with these huge pipes that kind of let you know that it means business. I should mention the tires on the car. He's got really, really slick Pirellis. This is a vintage racing tread from back in the day. They still actually manufacture these, and they just look perfect on this car. So again, I think lowering the car a little bit and then putting the gauges in really is like the kind of icing on the cake as far as getting the look that he was going for. Pretty much perfect right now. And then he's got a number of different badges on the rear here from various things. Let you take a look at those. And really nice black plate. Let's go ahead and fire it up here if I can do it from this side. Oh, this is getting a little bit better. We'll talk about that on my daily update video. Let's see if I can start this here and hold the phone with my bad hand. The gauges do a nice little sweep when you first apply power. There it is. Sounds good. Definitely does not sound like a stock Volkswagen. Very throaty sound coming from those enormous pea shooters. Again, 1835 cc's. Not sure what cam or heads or so on, but I drove it. It's pretty peppy. Got a nice little lope to it. Probably has like an angle 120 or something in it. That's a cam that Dave likes to use on motors about that size. So I think that's kind of the highlights of the car. I don't think there's anything major that I missed here. Just kind of walking around it a little bit more and just let you take this thing in because it's that beautiful. The only thing is we have to just double check the alignment, probably do that in the morning, and then the owner will be able to come get it whenever he wants. That's pretty much, so I would basically say done, other than that one little thing. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry to keep you guys kind of waiting, but I wanted to go ahead and finish the little upgrades that we were doing on the car before we did this video. Kind of made sense to go over it all at once. So there you go. Hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you guys soon.